Welcome to the Explainer. You know, it feels almost like magic when a kid first sounds out a word on a page, right? But here's the thing, it is absolutely not magic. It is a profound, step-by-step science. Today, we're decoding that exact scientific journey of how a child's brain actually learns to read. Let's dive right in.
Before we jump into the steps, we have to ask ourselves a pretty fundamental question. When it comes to teaching early literacy, are we relying on our own assumptions, or are we relying on hard evidence? If you're an educator or even a parent, understanding this proven path literally changes everything because the research has finally given us a crystal clear, definitive way forward.
So here is our roadmap for today. We'll be covering ending the reading wars, the Phonological Awareness Umbrella, Phonemic Awareness versus Phonics, systematic instruction, engaging multiple senses, and finally, the ultimate goal, orthographic mapping.
Section 1. Ending the Reading Wars, the National Reading Panel.
For years, this bitter debate just raged on. You had the whole language advocates who believed simply surrounding kids with great books was enough. Then you had the basic skills advocates pushing hard for explicit letter teaching. Well, in the year 2000, the National Reading Panel finally stepped in. They tossed opinions out the window and rigorously reviewed the hard, evidence-based research. Their definitive conclusion? Explicit structured instruction isn't just an option. It is absolutely essential for giving every single child the ability to read.
Section 2. The Phonological Awareness Umbrella, the foundation of sound.
Okay, so at the absolute base of our building blocks is phonological awareness. This is a student's ability to recognize and make sense of spoken sounds. Notice I said spoken, we aren't looking at any letters yet. Think of this like a giant umbrella covering 4 distinct skills that build in complexity. Right at the top, the broadest level, we have word-level skills like breaking apart sentences or recognizing rhyming words. Moving down, we start breaking whole words into syllables. Next up is the onset and rhyme level, where you identify the first sound and then the rest of the syllable, like the M and ap in map. Finally, at the very bottom, we hit the most complex level, phonemic awareness, where we decompose individual words into entirely separate sounds. Now, to really grasp that bottom level of the umbrella, we need to define phonemes. Phonemes are the smallest units of sound in the English language. You'll usually see them represented by little slashes, like the h or p sounds. They aren't letters themselves, but rather the raw acoustic building materials of our language.
Section 3. Phonemic Awareness versus Phonics, hearing versus seeing.
This is a big one. It's crucial to untangle these two terms because they are constantly and erroneously used interchangeably. Here is the trick. Phonemic awareness happens in the dark, using just your ears. You don't need to see a single letter to know the spoken word cat is made of 3 distinct sounds, k, a, and t. Phonics, on the other hand, well, that requires the light. It uses your eyes to connect those specific oral sounds you're hearing directly to written letters.
To pull a quote directly from our sources, phonics is the encoding of spoken language into written language. Phonics is that exact next step up the developmental staircase. It takes all those incredible oral networks of sound that kids already have hardwired in their brains, and it ties them directly to written symbols.
Section 4. Systematic phonics instruction, a clear plan. So, once we get to written symbols, how we teach them matters immensely. The research proves without a doubt that a systematic approach, meaning a clearly defined daily sequence of letter-sound relationships, massively outperforms embedded phonics. Embedded phonics is more sporadic. It relies on sort of just-in-time responsive methods based on what a teacher observes a child might need right in that moment. But the data is crystal clear. Systematic planning wins every single time, giving children a much faster, stronger start.
Interestingly enough, when it comes to the type of systematic phonics you use, we've got some great news. Whether you're using synthetic phonics, which means blending individual single sounds together, or analytic phonics, which is based on larger word families and analogies, both methods are highly effective at boosting early reading skills. The key isn't necessarily picking a side between synthetic and analytic, it's just making sure you are teaching the method systematically.
Section 5. Engaging multiple senses, strengthening the connections.
To make sure these lessons truly stick, we need multisensory scaffolding to deeply engage a student's mind. Try this simple but highly effective tactile activity called Say, Touch, and Spell. First, the teacher dictates a word. Second, the student orally stretches out the sounds. Third, they physically place a letter tile down to represent each sound they just heard. They listen, they speak, they touch, and they read. It literally cements those neural connections before the scaffolding is removed.
Section 6. The Orthographic Mapping Goal, Building the Superglue.
All right, so once a child has strong phonemic awareness and a really solid grasp of phonics, they hit the ultimate cognitive goal. Take words like bed or sheep. A student uses their phonemic awareness to pull the spoken word apart into its individual phonemes. Then, they use their phonics knowledge to attach each phoneme to its exact letter spelling. This mental process, it acts just like superglue. It permanently stores these connected sounds and letters right in the brain as instantly recognizable sight words.
And let me tell you, that superglue is incredibly powerful. Just consider this for a second. Competent adult readers have effortlessly mapped between 30,000 and 60,000 words in their sight vocabulary. That is a massive mental dictionary. Because of this intricate mapping, you no longer have to decode every word sound by sound. You just instantly recognize the word and you're completely free to focus entirely on the meaning of the text.
Putting it all together, we can really see a beautiful progression here. Early phonological awareness in pre-K sets the entire stage. Then, basic phonemic awareness becomes the vital gateway for phonic decoding in kindergarten and first grade. Finally, this whole structured journey climaxes in second and third grade with orthographic mapping, that amazing ability to store and instantly retrieve thousands of words for fluent reading.
With the definitive science of reading laid out so clearly, the only real question left is action. If we know the exact, proven recipe for reading success, from phonemic awareness all the way to orthographic mapping, are we willing to finally leave those reading wars behind and ensure every single child gets this evidence-based instruction? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Now, go spark some powerful learning in your community.